I'm Timothy Holden from London HR and Training. I'm going to talk today about absenteeism and what organisations can do. It's a bit cold outside, people are getting a few sniffles, saying, well, been off at Christmas and New Year, don't really want to come to work. So how do you make sure they do come to work and don't phone in sick when there may be a warm bed, it may be a bit cold outside, maybe frosty and icy? What do you do? Well, a lot of things you can do. We can focus on short-term absence, which to my clients tends to be one of the biggest headaches they have. So what we can do there is we can focus on return to work interviews. People who have been off sick undertake a return to work interview when they come back. We find out how they've got on, what we could do to help them, what we can do to prevent it happening again. We can also look at trigger mechanisms. So we can put some sort of numerical calculation in there so that if absence in a certain department or a certain person reaches a certain level, then action is taken. We can also look at how we can give information to line managers. So how do they find out that people are off sick? What can they do to manage their workforce? What disciplinary procedures are in place? So if somebody is having prolonged short-term absences, what sort of process, what sort of procedure, what sort of policies in place to make sure that disciplinary action is taken? We can train the line managers so that they can focus on reducing absenteeism. We can talk about family leave, so when people get sick at home, what the policy is, perhaps working from home if they're off sick. We can talk about flexible working, again working remotely, working mobile, and we can also talk about occupational health, how that can help an organisation reduce short-term absence as well. What we can train the managers on is, what do they actually know what the absence policy and procedures are in our organisation? If they don't, they need to know. We can look at how they can get involved with what sort of sick notes, what sort of fit notes, what sort of involvement from doctors is acceptable, is not acceptable. We can also look at how they keep records. There's no point saying that your absence in your department is not very good if the data is inaccurate. So how can it be kept up to date and accurate? We can talk about the role of occupational health, as we've touched on. We can also look at proactive initiatives like health and well-being, cycling to work schemes, an on-site gym, subsidised gym, Pilates classes, yoga classes, showers, all these sort of things. We can also look at how they manage a complex case. So how can they develop the sort of skills that will improve employee engagement because they're adopting a counselling, a coaching, a mentoring approach rather than hitting the person over the head with a stick like the traditional autocratic manager would. And we can also train them in long-term sickness absence. So there we're talking about occupational health again. We're also talking about sick pay and what sort of policy is around that. Return to work interviews are very important too, but also with long-term absence, increasing problem at work is drugs and alcohol. How can we get involved with rehab programs so managers know what is available out there? And lastly, the key elements around return to work interview, which last week I was doing some training on, how to do better return to work interviews. Keep in contact with people, don't pester them, but make them feel wanted and loved and engaged. Plan and undertake what sort of controls and adjustments are needed when they return to work. So perhaps under Disability Discrimination Act, reasonable adjustments need to be taken. Plan in advance. Use professional advice, so use professional medical people to give you advice on what sort of treatment is involved, what sort of care you should be doing as a caring employer. Plan and coordinate the return to work plan, so don't get them right into the job itself, perhaps lead them in gently if they've been off for a long time. And also look at how they're working, regular checks, how are you getting on, what can we do to help you, what can we do to make your life easier. So these are all things that are important right now, January 2017 around absenteeism. If you need to get in touch with me, details available, Timothy Holden, London HR and Training. You'll find me online. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care.